Welcome to the Word Around Town, episode 6. If you're curious about what's going on in Northwest Indiana, you've come to the right place. I'm Steve Jamrack with Realty Executives Premier, your host. And in this podcast, I like to talk a little bit about real estate and a lot about what's going on in Northwest Indiana. And I'm a little behind this week. I apologize, as my kids were home from college for their fall breaks. My son was home earlier in the week, and now my daughter's home. So I want to spend a little bit of quality time with them before they head back. And but again, I want to make sure I put this out here before the weekend for you guys. So a lot of great things happening this week. I'm going to talk a little bit about the government shutdown in this episode and how that's affecting real estate. Homeowners, you have a new option to market your home. I just want to make you aware of that and make sure that you understand what it is before moving forward. The Schererville YMCA expansion is bigger than anticipated. We have a new restaurant coming to the region, along with a region favorite that's expanding to a new market. And could we start seeing ships being built in Northwest Indiana? Curious. Michigan City continues to lead the way in innovative housing options. Hobart's taking a huge swing to shake up the US 30 and Southlake Mall campus. A riverfront district in Crown Point without a river? Yep, you heard me right. It's closer to reality than you might think. Plus, all the great things happening this weekend here in Northwest Indiana. So before we get started, though, as always, I'd like to just take a second to thank you all for continuing to support this podcast. Greatly appreciate you. If this is your first time watching, thank you. Please, I'd be honored if you hit that subscribe button. If you like what you hear, give it a thumbs up. And, of course, share this with anybody you know who may be interested in what's happening in Northwest Indiana. Any suggestions, questions, comments, leave them in the box below. I will get back to you. So, all right, sit back, relax, and let's get started by talking about the government shutdown and how that is affecting real estate currently. So, at the moment, we are still experiencing this government shutdown with no real end in sight at the moment. So, how is it currently affecting real estate? Well, the main issue right now is just uncertainty. And that's one thing the housing market does not like. It's uncertainty. So when you think about a homeowner who's getting ready to sell or a home buyer who's out there house hunting, they want to do it with confidence. And the last thing they need is uncertainty or questions moving forward. So if there's questions about the economy or the job market, it's going to cause them to back off and tap the brakes a little bit and put a pause on any major moves or major financial transactions. And that's kind of what we're seeing right now. It's just kind of a tapping of the brakes as everybody kind of watches and sees how prolonged this is going to be. Now, on the flip side of that, even though the housing market doesn't like uncertainty, we may see lower interest rates because of this, because typically investors like to stash their money in the safer options like bonds during these uncertain times, and that could lead to lower interest rates. So if that happens, we could have a little bit of a tug of war here where we have home buyers or homeowners looking to sell and then move are pausing. But if interest rates get low enough to entice them to make a move now, again, it could be kind of a yin and a yang effect between the uncertainty and lower interest rates. So it'll be very interesting to watch moving forward if those rates get lower and kind of low enough to make people overcome the uncertainty of the market right now. Now, as for government-backed loans, this has been a big question I've talked to a lot of people about. FHA, VA, and USD loans are government-backed, and you have to have a functioning government for those to get approved, obviously. Well, you can still use those loans. They will still be processed. According to the Mortgage Bankers Association, there are safeguards in place to make sure that these loans are still processed during the shutdown. But you can expect delays at the moment. So if you're currently using an FHA, VA, or USDA loan and you're under contract, make sure you check with your realtor and your lender and to make sure things are still moving along, and keep in contact on what kind of delays you may expect. If you're currently house hunting and planning on using one of these loans, you can still proceed with that and getting that approved. Just again, remember that it's going to take longer than it normally would. So again, make sure you have that conversation with your realtor and your lender. Now, homeowners also looking for flood insurance, or home buyers buying a home that need flood insurance. This is the bad part. The National Flood Insurance Program is shut down along with the government right now. So you'll be forced to go to the private marketplace for any kind of flood insurance. So hopefully the quicker this gets resolved, the better it will be, because again, having that National Flood Insurance Program open for everybody helps keeps that high cost of flood insurance is just a little bit lower. So overall, the quicker the shutdown ends, the better it's going to be for the housing market, because again, the uncertainty is just not a good thing for the housing market in the long term. Now, in the short term, if we get some lower interest rates as a result of this, it could be very positive here in the short term. So, all right, let's talk about delayed distribution now. So this is just a new option for homeowners out there as a way to market your property. Now, this has been rolled out nationwide by realtor associations, but each association is doing it a little bit differently. So I'm just going to focus on what we're doing here in Northwest Indiana at our Northwest Indiana Realtor Association. So delayed distribution is a way of marketing your property without syndicating it out to the secondary sites like Zillow, Realtor.com, Homes.com, etc. So let's take a step back and learn about how that process actually works. When we take a listing as a realtor, I list your property for sale. We come in here, we enter it into our multiple listing service, and we hit submit, and it goes live. It currently automatically syndicates to Realtor.com, Zillow, Homes.com, all those secondary sites out there. Well, with delayed distribution, it's an option for homeowners to prevent it from being syndicated to those secondary sites. Now, why would a homeowner want that? Well, there's two main reasons that I could think of, and there's probably others, but two that come to my mind are, number one, a privacy issue. Maybe you don't want everybody to know that your house is for sale, because it will still be listed in our MLS. It will still go out to other realtors. We can still market your property for you. It just won't go out to all the public sites. Again, so if you have some kind of privacy concern, maybe you're a government official or law enforcement or first responder of some kind, maybe you're a celebrity of some sort, and you don't want everybody in the world to know that your house is for sale, this would be an option for you. Another benefit of doing it this way would be if you wanted to just test the market. For example, let's say, hey, Steve, I want to put my house out there. I want to see if I can get $500,000 for my house. Can we just put it out there? And yeah, we can market it, semi-privately without everybody knowing that your house is for sale, just to kind of see, again, testing that market, if we can get any activity that you would like on there without syndicating out to everybody. Now, the cons of this, of course, are when you list your property and we market your property, our goal is to get as many eyes on it as possible. The more people that see it, the better chance we have of bringing you a buyer. So when you talk about these secondary sites, again, they have millions of visitors a day to those sites. So you're losing those potential views of your property on there. So again, this is just an option for you moving forward. Just want to make you aware. If it's as confusing, if you have questions, definitely please reach out, leave them a question in the comment below. I'll get back to you if you do that. But again, should you decide to sell your house and a realtor brings this up as an option, I want you to be aware. And again, you're not forced to do it one way or another. It is just another option for you. And you should have that conversation with your realtor of what way best fits your goals. So again, just an option. Don't want you to get caught up too much in this, and definitely don't want to make you think that you have to go one way or another. It's just another tool for you to discuss with your realtor should you decide to sell your house. So, all right, let's jump into what's coming into Northwest Indiana. A lot of expansions and developments and a lot of things to talk about here right now. First off, we're going to talk about the Schererville YMCA. I think it's in my first or second episode here. Talked about the YMCA expanding into some unused space in their current building. Well, it turns out that expansion is much bigger than anticipated. So they recently broke ground to expand into what was the old Jack's warehouse. And this expansion is actually going to make it the biggest YMCA in the area at over 200,000 square feet. And it's going to be able to accommodate over 40,000 members. It's going to include a new welcome area, an expanded fitness center, a new kids zone, a healthy lifestyle center with kitchens available, 2 additional basketball courts, and a new all-purpose turf area. And that turf area is going to include sports-specific areas for indoor t-ball and indoor softball, which is much needed here in Northwest Indiana for those cold months. So again, a credible benefit coming to the town of Schererville. Hats off to the Crossroads YMCA as they continue to provide incredible value to our communities by making these destination YMCAs. Just going to be a great benefit to Schererville. Over in Gary, FedEx has broken ground on a 317,000 square foot distribution center at Buffington Harbor. The $67 million development is going to help to continue revitalize the city of Gary, and FedEx is guaranteeing at least 20% of the jobs are going to be offered to Gary residents first. On the restaurant front, a new fast casual restaurant's coming to the area. Zaxby's Chicken is coming to Valparaiso while also looking for a Lake County location as well. This fast casual chicken chain is very popular in the Southeast, and this is going to be the first restaurant opening of its kind for Zaxby's in Northwest Indiana. And then a region favorite, La Corridor Mexican restaurant is expanding into St. John. It's moving into the old Ernie Steakhouse off of Wicker Avenue and just north of 93rd Avenue. So again, it's going to be if you've never been to La Corridor, check it out. It's a great Mexican restaurant option for you guys. A great place to go grab a pitcher of Dos Equis and some steak tacos and sit back and enjoy the company you're with. That's La Corridor moving into St. John. Now, one of the cool things about having Lake Michigan right here, and so many people don't realize, let me preface this. It's always amazing when you have somebody who's not from Northwest Indiana come up here and see Lake Michigan for the first time. The Great Lakes are amazing, and they're really kind of taken aback. I still remember the first time my wife, who's from Indianapolis, when we moved up here, and I took her to Lake Michigan, and she was like, whoa, it's kind of mind-blowing at first. So when you realize the size and scope of the Great Lakes, you realize that, man, there's a lot of shipping that occurs on Lake Michigan. And we are fortunate enough in Northwest Indiana to actually have one of the few deep water ports on Lake Michigan. That is the Port of Indiana at Burns Harbor. And that port continues to process shipping from both domestic and international ports. And now state leaders are looking into trying to lure a shipbuilder to that deep water port at Burns Harbor. So while this is still in the beginning stages, leaders are fairly confident that Northwest Indiana's location, along with its commitment to industry, will showcase potential shipbuilders the benefits of moving to Northwest Indiana. So again, while it's still in the early stages, this would be a great economic boost and a huge job creator should this happen with a shipbuilder coming to Northwest Indiana. So we'll keep you posted there as that process continues. Over in Michigan City, I've talked about Michigan City quite a bit, but they are in the news quite a bit because they are doing a very, very interesting and, in my opinion, great job at offering different types of housing that is much needed throughout the region. Michigan City is leading the way, in my opinion, as far as innovative housing solutions. Sorry, let me rephrase that. Michigan City is leading the way in innovative housing solutions. A new apartment complex called Singing Sands is planned for downtown near 8th and Michigan Boulevard. This development is going to be geared towards affordable apartments and towards workers who work in the downtown area. This is going to go together with another new development in that area, the 12-story Franklin Street Tower apartment complex that's going to be bringing retail and a new grocery store along with the apartments to that area. And then right down the road at Washington Park is that $300 million SOLA luxury condos and townhomes retail hotel development that's coming to Washington Park. So again, Michigan City is providing a plethora of options, of housing options to their residents, which is solely needed here in Northwest Indiana. Over to Hobart, where they are taking a big swing on trying something different to reimagine and re-event the US 30 corridor and the Southlake Mall campus. So a $500 million development is coming to Patriot Park, which is located just north of US 30 off of Mississippi Street. And that development is going to be a mixed-use development of retail, office space, and apartments. But the interesting thing about this development, it is going to be anchored by a youth sports complex that has been approved and is going to be built by the city of Hobart. This youth sports complex is going to feature baseball, softball, mixed-use fields, and they are looking to capitalize on that multi-billion-dollar economic youth sports engine right now. Now, this goes hand in hand with some new ideas for the Southlake Mall corridor and campus, where the Southlake Mall is looking to bring a more entertainment-focused experience to that area as opposed to just retail. So Hobart, again, is aside from that youth sports complex and that mixed-use retail development that's coming in there, they're also looking to try to get a Top Golf-like entertainment venue there. And then the Southlake Mall is looking to try to revitalize a couple of their long vacant anchor stores into entertainment type complexes as well. So they're looking at potentially turning a couple of those anchors into a field house for basketball courts or a performing arts center for shows and music venues. And then there's a lot of talk of developers wanting to develop hotels in the lots around the mall as well. So a lot of outside the box thinking going into that area. And for those of us who have grown up here in Northwest Indiana, we know what the Southlake Mall used to be compared to what it is now. And it's really been hurt due to e-commerce and stores moving into smaller spaces over the last few years. But to think about the Southlake Mall, though, it's still the second biggest mall in Indiana, and it attracts over 6 million visitors a year. So this new way of thinking and reimagining that area could be a huge positive for Hobart and all of Northwest Indiana. So it'll be interesting to watch that as that progresses. Let's head back to Crown Point now, where I know everybody's always loving the traffic throughout Crown Point as we continue to grow, but unfortunately, some bad news for you. We have a traffic nightmare taking place here in Crown Point right now as the intersection of US 231 and Klein Avenue is shut down for the next 2 months as they improve the infrastructure in the area to prepare for a roundabout that's coming to that intersection next year. So unfortunately, this also coincides with some unrelated road closures of the secondary roads in that area. So traveling between St. John and Crown Point right now is a little bit of a headache. So give yourself plenty of time if you need to, if you're coming from St. John towards Crown Point or vice versa, Crown Point towards St. John. It's going to take you a little bit longer than it normally would. Now, another interesting idea being proposed in Crown Point. This one was in the city council meeting last week and caught my eye, so I tuned in to give a listen. And a new riverfront municipal district has been proposed for Crown Point that's going to, with the purpose of giving developers easier access to liquor license while also allowing the city to better control who gets the license and what they develop in that area. Now, the new riverfront district would be on the east side of town, be east of Broadway, south of 101st, and just north of 113th Avenue there. Think behind Strack and Van Til and the Beacon Hill development there. That would be the main part of the district. These types of districts have become very popular in the state. I'm not going to get into the state statute that allows them, but the wording pretty much can be interpreted as a waterway, as allowing a riverfront district there. But there's a lot of communities in southern Indiana, Franklin, in Hamilton County, around Indianapolis, and of course, St. John and Schererville, both here in the region, have recently established riverfront districts as well. And again, think of these districts as a way of expediting the liquor license process. So they are very popular for developers because they can get in there quickly. But they're also very popular for the city because it's very similar to what Crown Point has been doing on our historic downtown square, where they have a little bit more control over the liquor license and the businesses that come in here. But in turn, they can offer more liquor license at an expedited process. So again, this is just the concept at the moment. This was just brought up to the town or the city council. There's a lot more hoops, talks, and development that needs to be done before this takes place here in Crown Point. But again, it was passed unanimously by the city council, so there is definitely interest here. Now, the big pushback that I've heard from a lot of people on this is, again, it's kind of the old beating our heads against the wall here in Crown Point of, oh my gosh, another bar, another restaurant. That's all we have here. And we want to attract other type of venues here to Crown Point, and people we want more things to do, more entertainment style venues to go out here. Well, if you think about it, any type of entertainment venue, whether you're, again, trying to lure a Top Golf type facility or a music venue, an indoor music venue, a bowling alley, pop stroke, mini golf, or any of those indoor type entertainment venues or outdoor type entertainment venues for that matter, those venues are going to want the option of being able to sell alcohol to their consumers. It just unfortunately goes hand in hand. That's what it is. And when you have those licenses available, those developers are much more interested to be able to come here to get things moving quicker. So again, this is a good thing in my opinion here as we move forward, because not only are developers going to be more interested in that area now to kind of expedite their developments, but it also, and more importantly, gives the city more control over those licenses, what moves in there and who moves in there. So again, very early in the process, but it's going to be very interesting to watch this develop over the coming years. So, all right. That's what's coming to Northwest Indiana. So let's talk about now what's happening this weekend here in Northwest Indiana. Friday and Saturday at the Lake County Fairgrounds is the Hunt and Gather Market. Saturday in Michigan City, the Bourbon and Bonfires, bourbon tasting event at the Brew Lodge in Michigan City. The Brew Lodge is one of my favorite places in Northwest Indiana. It is a small restaurant and hotel, kind of like almost like a B&B, but instead of breakfast, it's beer and drinks. Just a really cool place. If you're looking to get away from things, put down your phone for the weekend, get away from the news and the television, check out the Brew Lodge, go over there, try a little bourbon, have a bonfire. Really just a great little place there in Michigan City. Saturday at the Hard Rock, if you don't want to get away from everything, but you do want to step back in time, Def Leppard is coming to the Hard Rock on Saturday. So break out the big hair and go check out Def Leppard, still going strong at the Hard Rock on Saturday. Also, Saturday in Valparaiso is a trunk or treat event at Sunset Hill Farm. Saturday and Sunday, the Fall Festival at Buckley Homestead in Lowell takes place. In Hobart on Sunday, Hometown Jams present Drake White at the Hobart Art Theater. And also at the Hobart Art Theater on Tuesday, October 14th, they are going to have their first ever ghost hunt. You'll be able to take a tour of the historic theater while opening your senses for the supernatural. That tour starts at 7 p.m. on Tuesday, October 14th. So, all right, that's what's going on in Northwest Indiana. Next week, I'm going to be out of town, so I will not have a podcast for you, but I'm sure I'll have plenty of information for you guys in the 2 weeks from now. Thanks, as always, for watching. This has been The Word Around Town. We'll see you in 2 weeks.